Well, hello. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. So, we are here today to sit down and talk about the 10 makeup items that I would repurchase first. I guess if I were to like lose everything in my collection. Now, I am not quite sure if this has already been done before. This was just something that, you know, kind of came to me. But yeah, I mean, it's YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's probably been done before. So if you have seen this done before by someone else, leave it down in the comment section if you want. That way credit can be given where credit is due. Either way, I do have 10 makeup items to share with you. Obviously, I just said that. Anyway, a lot of these are like favorites, things that I have continued to purchase and like repurchase. A lot of them are things that I have panned multiple times within like my panning journey, I guess, my makeup wearing life. So that could also be another fun video, I guess, like items so nice I've panned them twice or more times. So if you want to see something like that, let me know down below in the comment section. I would be more than happy to go through and figure out like what products match up for that video. But either way, let's not get sidetracked too terribly much. Let's start talking about these 10 items that I would repurchase first. These are kind of like my holy grail items, we'll say. Like I feel very complete when I have these on. I never have a bad makeup day from them. You know, we're gonna go in order of like application on your face, and of course there will be chapters so that you can skip around if you would like to. Okay, so we will talk about some base products first. My favorite holy grail all-time primer is the CoverGirl Outlast Primer Base. It's the one that comes and it has like the little red stripe at the top. You guys can see I'm almost finished with the tube of this. This comes out and it's very much like a moisturizer consistency, but it just melts into your face so well. I never find that this has any peeling to it, no matter what other products I have paired this with, be it skincare or other makeup. And I am an oily girl, especially here in the summer, but this primer is amazing. I don't feel like this ever makes me look like any more oily than I'm going to, but also in the winter time I feel like this is a really good hydrating primer. Like my skin does not feel like super tight and dry when I put this on. So this is definitely like a product that I will continue to have in my life, continue to repurchase. I really hope CoverGirl never discontinues it, because this is my hands down all-time favorite primer. Speaking of CoverGirl and all-time favorite primers, they also make my all-time favorite foundation. So this is from the same Outlast line. This is in the red cap. They have quite a few different foundations. I think one has like a black cap, and that is the matte version of this. And then I think one has like a white cap. I've never tried that one. But yeah, this Outlast primer with the red cap is my absolute hands down favorite. I get mine in the shade 810, which is Classic Ivory. I feel like this is a really good shade match for me. It does have a nice neutral undertone, so I appreciate that. This is a more full coverage foundation, so if you are not a full coverage kind of person, I wouldn't recommend this. However, it is not like a super matte full coverage foundation. It's almost like a little bit satiny, and I just love the way that this wears. This is also, even though it's on the more full coverage side, it never looks cakey. And again, much like with the primer, I feel like I can wear this with basically any powder, any concealer. Like I never have a problem with this. It wears beautifully throughout the day. I feel like this really holds up well in the heat and the humidity of the summer months, but it also looks quite nice in like the winter months as well. So again, it's just a standout staple product here within my collection. Okay, so a concealer that I would have to run right out and rebuy right away is actually a new to me concealer. I think I tried this year, but I've already finished off like one bottle of it. So this is from Rare Beauty. This is their Liquid Touch Brightening Concealer. I get mine in the shade 140C, and even though it is a C shade, so you would think cool tone, I feel like this is a really nice like neutral shade. I always get my concealers like 1 to 2 shades lighter than what I want my foundation to be, because I want that brightening effect underneath my eyes, and I really feel like this does achieve this. I feel like this concealer too, it's got a lot of good coverage to it, but it never like looks cakey or crepey or anything like that. I have found too that I don't necessarily have to set this. Now it does wear better and stays like longer, you know, if you do set it. But there have been times where I've put this on, forgotten to set underneath my eyes, and walked out the door, and I didn't feel like I noticed any like settling into fine lines or anything like that. So I really appreciate that from this concealer. yeah, I can't believe that it's something that's so new to me, but it's already like dethroned other concealers that I would have thought would have been holy grail items. So I will say the only like maybe kind of drawback, but it's not really a drawback for me, the Dofa applicator on this concealer, when you pull it out, like it's not, it looks just like a standard Dofa applicator. Okay, there's nothing like special about it in that sense. However, it is a little bit more like firmer and less on that like kind of spongy side than I think some of us are used to. But I don't really find a problem with that. I actually like that a little bit better because I feel like I can actually successfully draw on my concealer right where I want it. Okay, so the last base product to talk about is something that I have used up countless compacts of in the past, like prior to starting my YouTube channel, but then I just never repurchased it. I repurchased it this year and I remember now why I love it so much. So this is actually from Sephora. This is from their in-house brand. This is their foundation compact powder. So I have mine in the shade 08 Fair Neutral. I will open this up for you. This is what it looks like on the inside. This is a powder foundation, obviously, like the name says. However, I feel like this is also a really good setting powder. Like I can use this on top of foundations and I don't ever find that it looks too cakey or like too much, too heavy. Like it really provides that little bit of extra coverage. So if I'm wearing a foundation that's more on the light coverage or the medium coverage, then I will pull this out and set my face with this, and that's how I obtain like the coverage that I want. But this is also just a really good powder foundation on its own. Many a time I've just put like concealer where I need to, blended that out, and then put this on top of it and went about my day. It looks so pretty no matter what. And again, it's just one of those great like workhorse kind of products. I haven't found any way that I've worn this where I'm like, oh, that did not pair nicely together. Like everything I've tried this with ends up working out. And I love the way that this wears on my face, and it never looks, like I said, super cakey or super powdery. So that wraps it up for base products. I lied, one more base product. Now mine is still in the box, and I do that so that I know like I haven't yet used it within my collection. However, I have went through many a bottle of this too. So this is from Urban Decay. This is the All-Nighter Face Setting Spray. I really... like I hesitate to ever recommend a high-end setting spray because they come with that hefty price tag, and I typically find that I can go through a setting spray in like a month or two. Now granted, I do probably spray a little bit more than your average person, but I just like the feeling of it. However, this is a really nice setting spray. I would say that I would purchase this at full price, even though it is kind of expensive. Like I really love the MAC Fix Plus spray, but I've never purchased that at full price. This I have. So why do I like this so much? It's because it really does help take down that powderiness of my makeup. I feel like as this is my final step, it really just helps to melt everything together, and it looks so nice and so flawless. I also feel like it does help the longevity of my makeup, especially in the heat and the humidity. Like I just feel like it holds up so nicely since having this in like my makeup, I was about to say my skincare routine, having it in my makeup routine. So yeah, even though this is a bit of like a bougie item, you know, it is something that I would definitely run right out and repurchase first. Okay, so we'll move on into some like complexion products. So I'm actually quite surprised, like as I was sitting down and like pulling out these items and like really thinking like what would be the first 10 things that I would repurchase. Some of these items, like I said when I mentioned the Rare Beauty Concealer, are like new to me this year, but I have put them through the test. Like I have really tried them out and I just love them so much. So it was just kind of eye-opening though, because I do have those older items in my collection that I really do enjoy and I would rank very highly, but it just, you know, it was kind of interesting to see. Either way, tangent aside, a powdered highlighter that I would have to run right out and repurchase is from Oden's Eye. So this is from their Norn's collection. This is the Veil of the Future highlighter. So the highlighters that came in this particular collection, they all have like that little nice kind of like webbing lacy design on them. So this one is a mix of like a pinky purple, a white, and a gold shade. The reason this would be the highlighter that I would run right out and repurchase isn't necessarily for like the color, because golden highlighters are not my favorite. However, this one is one of those where You can put it on, it's actually what I have on today. You can put it on and it's really soft, but you can also layer it and build up the intensity of it, and having it mixed with that pinky purple shade as well as like the white shade makes it have a little bit of a shift to it that's different from other golden highlighters. And so with all of that coming together, I feel like this is a highlighter where it will go with every single makeup look, every single blush, every single like whatever it is that I would want to do. So it's really kind of like the only highlighter that I would need. So if I lost my whole collection, like it makes sense to me to repurchase a workhorse item like this one. All right, let's talk about some cream blushes. So you guys know I have just been missing and pining after the Balm How About Them Apples cream blush palette ever since completing it off. That was just such a favorite product. Like I just had so much enjoyment actually panning that, and it was not a chore. Panned it from start to finish, never got really sick of it. So I just, in my heart of hearts, I don't think I'll ever be able to replace it because it just was so good. But I think I have found like a runner-up, you know? So this is also from Sephora, their in-house brand. This is their cream blush palette. Now this is the Candied one, which is the lighter one. I do also have the Spice one, which is darker. I like both of them. They both have the same formula. So if you are of a deeper skin tone than I am, or if you like darker cream blushes, like not necessarily a lot of pinks, and you're eyeing the Spice one, just know that the quality of them is the same. However, just my heart more aligns with this one, and I think if I bring it in, you can tell why. Like these 4 shades are very reminiscent of what was in the Balm How About Them Apples palette. So this shade down here, while it is a little bit more orangey, it does still have like a golden sheen to it. So it reminds me of that crisp shade that I was working on. This shade up here is more of like a mid-tone pinky shade. It screams that pie color that was in the Balm palette. And then this first shade up here is like a light pink shade. And so that kind of to me really reminds me of I think it was called Candy was the lightest pink shade. Now this shade down here is more of like a mauve pink, like kind of has a little bit of purpleness to it. Now that color was not necessarily in the How About Them Apples palette, but it is still a really pretty color, and I do greatly enjoy this. I'm having so much fun like playing around with this palette, and I cannot wait until I finish off some other cream blushes that they're older, and so I want to get them out first. But once those are gone, like I am just going hardcore in on this, and I am panning this. Okay, so 2 lip products, and then we will wrap it up. So the first lip product, mine is only a little mini, but this is from Rare Beauty. This is one of their lip souffles. I have mine in the shade Fearless. It's a pretty good color representation as to like the outside packaging. This is to me my perfect everyday neutral shade. I could wear this in the summer, the winter, the fall, the whenever. I guess I should just say spring. There's only 4 seasons. Why'd you stop at 3? But either way, I could just wear this all year round and get so much enjoyment out of it. This is very similar to the Bite Beauty shade No Nino in my opinion. So if you saw me panning that and you were like, ooh, that's a really pretty color, but Bite Beauty is like going out of business, so you can't really get it, this is a good like dupe of it. Also, drugstore dupe version would be the Maybelline Stay All Day Ink Crown, I think is what theirs are, but it's the shade 105 On The Grind. So either way, I'm picking this as one of my 10 items that I would go right out and repurchase for all of those reasons, but also because I classify this as a liquid lipstick, and I think most people would too. However, this is not drying on the lips whatsoever. This does dry down. So like when you first put it on, it does a little bit wet. It does dry down, but it does not make your lips feel like the Sahara Desert. Like it's quite nice and comfortable. It's very cushiony, I guess we will say. So I do tend to pair a gloss on top of this just because I have a lot of lip glosses, but I don't feel like you need to have that step necessarily. So I like it for that. Also, it is a shade it's a formula that wears away really nicely. So as you go about your day and just, you know, we're drinking things, we're eating things, like any type of lip product, I feel like is really going to wear off. Maybe unless it is like a true Sahara Desert liquid lipstick. But either way, this fades really nicely. Like it doesn't ever look patchy on my lips as it's fading away. And I feel like it almost kind of leaves a little bit of a staining effect behind on my lips. So I feel like I have the color basically all day. So yeah, I just greatly enjoy the formula of these. I would be interested in like trying other shades from this line, but I have enough lipsticks right now in my life, so I'm just going to enjoy this one that I have. Okay, so then the last item is a lip gloss. Now, I went back and forth because I was like, I'm just a lip gloss girl. I love this. Obviously, it would be one of my 10 things to first repurchase. But if it's just like a no makeup day or like a minimal makeup day, a lot of times I just throw a gloss on and go out the door or go about my business. I tend to carry a gloss in my pocket at all times with me so that I can reapply it constantly throughout the day because I just think they're very comfortable. So in saying that, I knew I wanted to add a gloss into this like top 10 or like first 10 things I would repurchase video. But I was going back and forth and struggling, like, do I pick a Fenty Beauty gloss or do I pick a NYX Buttergloss? And I have to say, as much as I love the Fenty Beauty glosses, the NYX Buttergloss, it's a superior formula. It's a superior shade range. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I do have to go with my NYX Butterglosses. So every shade that I have tried from them has been a fan favorite. I have not come across like a bad shade for me. And these go from really light to really dark, which I think is very nice. Like I think there's like 40 shades within this line. So the shade that I just pulled out for this video is the shade Madeleine. It's just a great like brown lip gloss because brown would be my favorite shade of lip gloss, and a brown pairing it with this makes a lot of sense, like they go nicely together. But either way, the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bombs, I think those are really comfortable, just like these NYX ones. However, their shades tend to be a little bit darker, and while you could argue they're a little bit more interesting, I just at the end of the day, when I compare the two of them, the NYX ones are a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more hydrating feeling. So that is ultimately why I went with the NYX one, and I'm happy to say that wraps it up. That is all 10 items that I would first run right out and repurchase if I lost everything in my makeup collection. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know down below what would be like if you have 10 items, or if you just have 5, or you just have that one item that you would go right out, like you would panic if you didn't have it. Let me know all of that down in the comments below. I so love just like hearing y'all's thoughts and opinions and like getting to chat with you in that way. So yeah, that wraps it up for this video. Like I said, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, or a good whatever, and I will catch you in the next one.